It's after midnight. I should be watching horror movies right now. My love for y'all is so great that I'm here recording a video instead of lying in bed cuddled up with my horror movie watching blanket and, watching somebody cut off her head with a piano wire or something like that. Well, we're coming up to the end of March of 2025, and I have just received the March 2025 HorrorPack. So I'm going to open that up, as I always do on this channel, and see what wonderful Blu-rays the horror movie subscription service has sent to all of us creepy little weirdos who subscribe. In case you're new here, that is a regular feature on my channel. I like to open these up and show y'all at the same moment as I discover what I've got from HorrorPack. I also talk about all kinds of other horror stuff, movies, books, everything else, so do be sure to subscribe, ring my bell, like, share, leave comments, etc., etc., etc. Feed the algorithm so it does not feed on me, or something along those lines. But here is the HorrorPack for March of 2025. I'm going to go ahead and dive right in. Like I said at the beginning in the cold open, it's after midnight, it's late, I'm tired, I'm going to make this a quick one. I'm going to dive in and start talking about these. If you happen to find any of them interesting, I'll leave purchase links for you right down there in the What's It, where you can support my work on this channel while also getting some movies for yourself. But I say that sort of stuff all the time. I'm trying to get through it as quick as possible. What we're really here for is just to see what these movies actually are. Let's get right to it. Well, the first one to come out is a film entitled The Other Lamb. This is one that I'm not familiar with. I don't think I've even heard of this one. Once I read the description, maybe it'll sound familiar, but I don't think so. Let's read it and see what we're in for. It says, for her entire life, the cult she was born into has been all that teenage Sella has known. Along with a band of similarly cloistered young women, she lives seemingly unstuck in time, cut off from modern society, in a remote forest commune presided over by a man called Shepherd, a controlling messiah-like figure with a frightening dark side. So far, half of this sounds interesting to me. Living off the grid, away from people, out in the woods somewhere? Where do I sign up? Living with a frightening, dark-sided cult leader? Not so much. But let's carry on with the description, which goes on to say, but when her insular world is racked by a series of nightmarish visions and disturbing revelations, Sella begins to question everything about her existence, including her allegiance to the increasingly dangerous Shepherd. Awash in images of primal, dreamlike dread, this provocative fable is a haunting vision of adolescent awakening and revolt. That is intriguing. I don't know much from that description about what the evil actually is. It could just be a psychopathic cult leader, which is frightening enough, isn't it? I have studied in some depth cults throughout history and those kinds of things, and they can be frightening indeed. But this could also be a supernatural horror story, and I'm not sure which direction it's going to go. It sounds right up my alley. It sounds like the kind of movie that could have those kinds of intellectual notes that I'm always looking for in really good horror. So even though I don't know much about it, this is one that I'm glad to have received. Next up, and apologies if there's background noise, there seems to be an air show flying over my house at the moment. But next up is a film entitled The Damned. This is another one that I'm unfamiliar with. I think I get a sense just from the cover art of what kind of a movie it is, and based on the title. But let's go ahead and read our description and see if my guess that this is some sort of a demonic film is correct. The description says, En route from having received his rebellious teenage daughter from the city of Bogota, Colombia, David Reynolds and his new fiancée suffer a car crash that leaves them stranded at a rundown, isolated inn. That sounds like exactly the kind of situation that in the real world you're really glad those kind people are there to take you in, and in a horror movie is setting up something god-awful. Carrying on, it says, sensing something sinister from the mysterious old innkeeper, the family discovers a young girl locked in the basement and determines to set her free. But little do they know that the seemingly innocent girl is an embodiment of pure evil, and that their act of charity could have cataclysmic consequences. Both exotic and terrifying, The Damned is a white-knuckle suspense ride that explores possession in a fresh new way. I'm intrigued by this. Y'all know I love a good demonic possession story. The Exorcist is my favorite movie. The Exorcist is one of my favorite books. I have read about real exorcisms. I have read about fictional exorcisms. I have read about real demonic possessions, at least allegedly, and I've read about fictional ones. I can't get enough of it. So this really is right up my alley. I like the different twist on it, that it sounds like we're setting up for the innkeeper is evil and they're going to rescue the girl in the basement, but then it inverts it and it turns out she's possessed by the devil or whatever. Honestly, everything about this sounds tailor-made to my own taste, so I am quite looking forward to trying this one. Next up, we have a film entitled My Heart Can't Beat Unless You Tell It To. My reaction was just to the typesetting and the format of the title made it hard to read. I was not reacting negatively to the film, because I don't actually know anything about this film either. I am batting zero in terms of my familiarity with these films so far this month, which I like because I am discovering some new stuff. Hopefully some good stuff. Let's go ahead and read the description here as well. It says, Dwight and his sister Jessie reach a crossroads over what to do about their younger brother Thomas's mysterious illness. The increasingly dangerous task of keeping him alive weighs heavy on sensitive Dwight, and as a fiercely private and close-knit family unit, Thomas and Jessie depend on him and the rituals they've learned in order to keep their secret. Dwight yearns for another life, but Jessie will stop at nothing to keep her family together. This is also an intriguing one and also sounds quite good. Again, I don't know if any of these are good, but they are sounding really good this month. What I like about this one is that I think a lot of us can understand the burden of caring for a convalescent family member. We can understand the desire to move on, but also the desire to be loyal to one's family and to stay put and deal with what needs to be dealt with. So I can understand how somebody might be sort of mentally pulled apart by that kind of a situation in the real world, in perfectly ordinary life. That here they're doing these mysterious rituals adds a horror level to what's already a fraught situation and presumably just raises the ante of the whole thing. I like the sound of it, and I'm looking forward to this one too. Next and last for this month, we have what must be the monthly HorrorPack exclusive Blu-ray, and it is a film entitled 1031 Part 3. So 1031, obviously Halloween. Part 3, presumably there was Part 1 and 2. I don't happen to know much about Parts 1 and 2, and I'm feeling like I should. I have heard of them, but I've not seen them. And if in fact these are popular Halloween movies, let me know in the comments, and I will prostrate myself later if I've been missing out on something that I should have seen, because I pride myself on knowing the horror genre pretty well. But honestly, there's so much great horror out there these days, and especially because I'm a film guy and a book guy and a props guy, it's hard to stay caught up on everything. So I'm going to have to look up parts 1 and 2. But here we've got part 3. I do like a good Halloween movie. A lot of people think that horror movies are for Halloween and that Halloween is for horror movies. And that's true as far as it goes, but horror movies are for all year. There's a certain kind of horror movie that's for Halloween, and it sounds like that's what this is. But let's read the description and see what it's really all about. It says, "Welcome to another edition of the Halloween Monster Marathon with your host, Malvolia, the Queen of Screams. This year brings you 4 more creepy tales of mummies, madmen, and fun-sized demons." And it goes on to list some people who are in it, and I'm not going to mention all of the people, but I will mention the titles of the segments. It says, we have House of the Mummy, Locksmith, Old Man Gross, Hack in the Box. We've got music from so-and-so, and faux movie trailers for a variety of fake movies. So it's an anthology film of Halloween-themed goodness. Bit of an odd time of year for a Halloween-specific horror movie, but I can forgive that because I'm one of those who likes to keep Halloween all year, and if you're watching my channel, presumably you think similarly, so this should also be a worthy addition to our collections, and I'm looking forward to trying this one as well. So there we go, 4 brand new horror movies for me to try out. I am 4 for 4 in terms of movies that I have not seen, which I love. Like I said, I like discovering new stuff. I'm pretty well plugged into the horror genre. I see a lot of movies. They're making them faster than I can watch them these days, so it's nice to discover some wonderful gems from the HorrorPack people. I will review these after I've had a chance to watch them, so make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss that or any of my other videos. But most importantly of all, as I'm about to sign off, take care and stay scared.